Hi, welcome to the first video of a character creation. So, for this first series of videos, I thought that um, I thought to start with something a little bit easy. So, for people that want to follow along or what I'm doing, um, it won't be too hard to try and replicate. So, as a character that I quite like, I'm a big fan, like many people, I'm a big fan of the Disney Pixar movies. And I thought, maybe we can make a character from the movie The Incredibles, in particular Mr. Incredible. Mr. Incredible is a very nice design character. I have a bunch of references here. So, Mr. Incredible is a very well designed character. He has very defined, exaggerated hero proportions, and I think it would be fun to make this character. And I'm gonna show you the whole process from start to finish. I've taken a bunch of screen grabs from the movie, and as you can see here, a bunch of screen grabs in different angles of his face, different angles, different lighting conditions, and as you can see, he has very defined facial features. As you can see, his profile is very specific. It's almost like those Spartans helmets. This kind of sharp nose, the shape here. Broad chin, you can see. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a good character to start with, and so I hope you will enjoy this series of videos, and let's get started. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, this image viewer that I'm using, it's called XNView. It's pretty old, but I think it was free. I'm not sure about now, but this version, I installed it many years ago, and it was free. It's a pretty straightforward, very simple to use image browser. And yeah, so check it out if you want. And let's get started. Okay, so here we are. Now, for the majority of the creation process, at least the modeling part, defining the proportions and shapes, I will be using this software called ZBrush or ZBrush, depending on how do you spell it. This is widely used from many artists all around the world. It's very famous software, and I will be using this to create the character. Now, I will also show and explain some of the function of the software, so for the people that are not familiar with, I will try to cover as much as possible, but this is not intended to be like a ZBrush course or anything like that. I'm just I'll just try to explain what I'm doing, and hopefully you will learn some of the functionality of this tool, which is definitely one of the best. I really like this software. So let's get started. What we can do first of all is define an overall volume for our character. So if I go here to this panel, this is where a bunch of primitives can be selected, and I'm gonna start with this called zSphere. So what this is, it's a special tool that will allow me to create volumes, and then after I created those volumes I can convert them into polygons and started sculpting it. But I will talk more about it when I do it. After I drop my tool, I click this icon, which is edit. This will allow me to start editing this zSphere. So as you can see, when I move the mouse on the sphere, the active area, it's shown to follow along the surface. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to activate the symmetry. So we're going to sculpt this character symmetrically first. This is going to be a little bit easier, so we don't have to do things twice. Pretty handy option that. So to activate symmetry, I'm going to press the letter X on the keyboard. And now as you can see, when I move the mouse, I have symmetry active. I accidentally clicked that. Now let's start by creating the main volume. So to help us in this process, it's always good to take a look at the pictures, the references. So let's go back and let's see what we can actually do. So you can see the character physique. Let's open this image. Now, one cool thing that ZBrush can do, if I go up here, you see it says see through. If I move this slider, the whole software interface become transparent, and I can still operate, as you can see, but I can also see through what the window that is below this. If I move the mouse on the top, the interface become opaque again, so I can select all the options, and then when I move the mouse in the center like this, it becomes half transparent again, based on what I've decided on this slider. I can make it more transparent or less transparent. So for now, I'm just gonna use this image here as a rough reference. So let's say that we want to have this main sphere as the waist, from where we are going to extract the rest of the character. So if I click and drag here, actually before I do this, you can see that at the moment this red circle around my cursor, this is my influence area. So when I work with this sphere, it's always I always prefer to have a very small influence area. And so to do this, I'm going to press the letter S on my keyboard, and I'm going to drag this down to 1. So basically I only have 1 point that I can influence. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click